Hello and welcome to VersAccounts. This introductory session will give you the opportunity to get used to the look and feel of VersAccounts, to work out how to navigate and understand where everything is. We'll look specifically at four things. We'll begin by looking at the dashboard that users use every day and the way in which it can be configured to meet the needs of a particular user at any time. Up here, we'll take a look at the main menu. The main menu has been designed in a way that makes it easy for users to reach the tasks that they need to perform. Over here, we'll take a look at what we call the admin view, which is an additional set of menu options for people who have to undertake maintenance and do month-end processes. And finally, we'll consider the fact that VersAccounts is a multi-company, multi-entity system, and we'll discuss how easy it is to toggle between different entities as you process transactions during the day. So let's begin by looking at the dashboard. As you can see, it's made up of a series of gauges, charts and reports. They're laid out in the order that the user prefers them and finds them important, and they can be moved around at any time into new positions based on preference and priority. So we'll put that back. We can also customize the dashboard to include information which isn't already there or remove things which are no longer relevant. This list is consistently being updated with new gauges, charts and reports. The information is also not static, it's live, and so if you see a number that you're interested in, you can double click on that number and in real time you can see the information that you need and then drill down further to see more about the customer in this case that you may be interested in investigating. The main menu bar runs across the top. The focus is on making it easy to find what you're looking for and intuitive so that people can be productive and enjoy using the system. The main menu items are somewhat obvious. You can raise sales invoices. You can enter and pay bills. You can manage the products that form your inventory. You can manage the projects that your company undertakes. You can manage purchase orders and sales orders. You can manage shipping and receiving in and out of your warehouse. There are a series of reports. There are cases. And finally, workflow and approvals. And when you're in any one of these menu structures, you can simply click on the dashboard and come back to the home page. When you want to perform one of the tasks from the main menu, you simply highlight that menu option and a submenu appears. In this case, we're looking at order entry. So you can either go in and set up a new purchase order, or on the sales side, you can set up a quote, which you can turn into a sales order should the customer decide to proceed, or you can enter a new sales order directly into the system. There's a whole series of lists and reports underneath that can be used to provide visibility into the performance of your business. And there are things like managing returns and transferring orders, all available from the same menu in a place that you would expect it, making it easy for the user to follow the system and perform the tasks they need to. The remaining menu options are set out in pretty much the same way, in that intuitive, well laid out fashion. We'll look at each of those in turn as we go through the product later on. But for now, what we'll do is we'll move over to what we call the admin view. So as you look at the main menu here, you'll see that it really focuses on the daily tasks that people undertake as the company goes about its business. By clicking on the admin view, you can view an additional set of menu options, which are normally those required by the accountants or the system administrators. So it's in this general area where you perform some of the more routine administrative tasks and some of the month-end processes that are needed to close the accounts and move forward. For the accountants, it'll be fairly obvious to you that this is a place where you can do your general ledger entries. It's where you can actually maintain your chart of accounts and where you actually can record and amortize your fixed assets. Similarly, it's the setup area. It's where you give users permissions, in fact set users up in the first place. It's where you set the parameters under which your business works, such as the financial periods and the custom periods, where you manage taxes and exchange rates and so on and so forth. And finally, we have a tab for tools. So when you're using VersAccounts in conjunction with another system, this is where you would actually set up the import and export configurations between the different systems that work together. So to complete this session on basic navigation, we return to the user view. We mentioned earlier that VersAccount is a multi-company, multi-entity system. This point here is where you can toggle easily and simply between the various entities that exist in your organization. Note the color coding here. As an additional check mark, you can change from one company to the other by just selecting from the drop-down list. And when the company loads, you'll notice that the color changes, acts as an additional check that you're in the right company for doing your processing, and the dashboard is updated with information relative to the new company or the new entity that you've selected. We'll learn more about how multi-company and multi-entity works in a later session, including things like consolidated reporting, master data management, and inter-entity transactions. So you can simply move back at any point to the company you want to operate. The color coding returns, and that concludes our demonstration on basic navigation of the VersAccounts system.